Right. There's a whole movement for, knowing where your food is coming from and making sure that it's within this kind of food shed that, is what, 200 miles or 300 miles. The definition seems to change. But local is a broad term for knowing more about where your food is coming from and having it be from a car ride away. In the last 10 years, the number of farmers markets has exploded by something like 80%. So it's making a huge difference. In fact, I would make the argument that the small local family farm is doing quite well. It's a booming business because people like you are suddenly asking me those questions, and there's a consciousness about it. There's a need for it. The other end of the spectrum is the big mega farms with these huge economies of scale, again in distribution, not in production, in distribution. They're also doing quite well. It's the ones in the middle that are struggling quite a bit. The ones who are too big, they're 500 acres, and they're too big to pack up a pickup truck and go to a farmer's market, but they're too small to compete in the mega food chain. Those are the ones that are being squeezed. And by some estimates, that's where 85% of our farmland is. And that's where the challenge is for the future. So chefs like me can talk till we're blue in the face about local food and supporting small family farms. That's great. And it's where a lot of flavor and diversity is, for sure, and a lot of great ecological stewardship. But it's not the answer to this whole thing. The answer is much more systemic, and it's much more political, because it ends up influencing how the Farm Bill is written and other legislation and tax incentives. All of that gets played out on a political level when you get into big farming. And that's really what feeds this country. The small family farmers market is 2% of what we eat. It's very small, very small. So when you get into big institutions like school lunch programs, hospitals, healthcare, like you get into real food where that's what's threatened. Is which direction do we really want to go in mega farms or importing more and more of our food, or do we want to preserve these mid-size, also family farms that have been around for generations and are really struggling in this new food world? I think the answer is is that you need help in the political realm. You need this farm bill that just got voted. You need in this next farm bill to make drastic changes in what's encouraged. And what's encouraged is bigger, 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 or get out. And that's literally an incentive. So that needs to change. And then, we need to stop paying farmers in that realm. We need to stop paying farmers for the amount that they produce. We need to start paying them if we're going to support them, and I think we should. I think we should be paying them for other criteria besides bulk weight of what they're producing. So they should be paid for one, how they treat the land, what kind of environmental decisions are they making. And you can fidget that any way you want, but the end of the day is, you need to look at the Farm Bill as a vehicle for encouraging the kind of farming everybody wants. And it shouldn't be in the hands of a few red states that are in the hands of big agribusiness that's controlling our food supply. And I think this past year's shown, with books by Michael Pollan and others, and a lot of reportage, that this year's shown a real wake-up call to people who, especially in bluer states and especially in metro regions, who are saying, wait a minute, hold on. There's this farm bill going on. It's not just a farm bill. It's a food bill. It's affecting my everyday life, and I want to have a say in this. And that was very dramatic. The Farm Bill itself didn't show that there was that much interest in the end, what was voted, but I think it was a good first step. And hopefully in this next time around, there'll be major changes, which is really what's needed.